Warning, this show contains adult language and subject matter and may not be suitable for all ages. Viewer discretion is advised. No, we have a hard time with bar stools because like you'll get a bar stool and the counter's like up to here on you.
I found some at TJ Maxx. The ones that I have at my house, they like start out like here, but they literally go like this fucking high.
What?
Yeah.
Because we got those and those were pretty tall.
Mhm.
But the counter's still like at face height, so you could just like shovel food right in, I guess. Did you want to do that like color changing stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking I wanted to do something black, something dark.
Okay. So I kind of was thinking if you wanted to stick with like dark, when I did my full ones, they just look black when you're not really doing anything with them. But I was also thinking like we did that, but with the mood gel.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like just on the like free edge. Or I might flip it, I don't know. But I have like little moons and stuff too if you wanted to do that.
Sure. Oh yeah, I had to shorten my thumbs.
I was gonna say, did we do that?
No,
or?
I couldn't draw. I couldn't hold my Apple Pencil. But the rest of them are good. I am enjoying having long nails again.
Good. Do you have your decals ready?
Almost. Okay. I was working on some. I have been like trying to be creative the past couple of weeks and it's just not working.
Yeah. And I haven't made any oils. I have like these 3 and that's it. But I've been doing a lot of press-on sets.
That's definitely good.
Because I needed that income.
Yeah, this sucks.
I keep going on like the Land O'Lakes mom groups and stuff and they're like, oh, my husband is an essential worker and he's putting our whole family at risk and I wish people would just stay home and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, be thankful that your husband has a fucking job. Like, my dude has been here since, like, March 13th, like, miserable and depressed because he can't work and he can't contribute. And, like, and you guys are on here bitching and complaining because your essential worker husband is getting paid.
James is working all day on Easter tomorrow, so he gets double pay, which means he's going to be making, like, $40 an hour tomorrow.
Jeez. That's good news. Yeah. I'm sure that helps you guys a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess now that we have all of like the loud drilling bits out of the way, I think. So for those who don't know who you are, other than artistic and sadistic on Instagram, how many times do people call you by your Instagram handle?
A lot. It kind of weirds me out sometimes. But ever since I started going by Sia instead, people seem to remember that a lot better.
Well, that's good.
Or like the dudes in my DMs, like, what's sadistic about you? Haha. I ask because I'm a masochist. Woo! You and all the other dudes in my DMs. Hooray!
And you are currently a tattoo artist at Lucky You.
Yeah.
Have you always been at Lucky You?
I've been at Lucky You in St. Pete for a bit over a year now. We're actually getting towards like a year and a half.
Nice.
Time flies.
Do you love it?
Oh yeah, I love where I work. I am so lucky to be able to say that I love my job and I love where I work and I love my boss and my coworkers.
Yeah, that's I don't know many people who can say that about their job in general.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the first few shops that I worked at were quite the opposite. I mean, when you're apprenticing, like, you're gonna get hazed. People are gonna pull pranks on you. It's expected. But unfortunately, being a female in a male-dominated industry, you're taken advantage of a lot until you're able to, like, hold your own.
I would imagine it's kind of like if a dude wanted to suddenly get it, like a straight dude wanted to get into doing nails.
Yeah,
like I
everyone
would
would give him a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I know I would have to. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's.
And I mean, the hazing, the pranks, that wasn't the problem. You know, there was dumb shit all the time. Like, they would put ink in my gloves, and I put my gloves on. My hands would be stained blue or purple, yellow. My brand new nails be stained, but joke's on them because you got that stain resistant top coat. No one can fuck with me now. Yeah, I saw a bunch of tattoo artists, were away for a convention, and like they were at their hotel or whatever, and they took a bunch of that stencil purple stuff and poured it over the dude while he was in the shower.
Oh no.
And his entire body was stained like this, like the color of your hair, like a light purple for like 3 days. They took a video of him walking through the airport.
Could I get that stuff for my eyebrows?
I mean, probably. I don't see why not.
Will it stay for like a few days so I can stop doing my goddamn eyebrows?
Dude, it would be so much easier if I could just stencil my eyebrows on and then fill them in. I didn't even bother doing my eyebrows today.
The only reason I did is because I saw the first take of us trying to do this, and I looked like an alien. So
great. So I'm definitely going to look back at this, and I definitely look like an alien today. But that's all right. That's how quarantine's got me feeling.
So when you were apprentice, how were you able to pay your bills when you were apprenticing?
Whatever, like literally just working whatever jobs I could at the same time.
Like odd jobs, just like
yeah,
whatever.
Odd jobs and stuff. Because I mean, the very first thing that I started doing to make money when I was in high school was I started an Etsy shop doing, hand-painted fake nails. And ever since then, I've always just kind of been like, yeah, like if you need something and I can do it, like pay me and I'll do it for you. Like that's cool. But yeah, I worked some other jobs. I worked at Ulta for a while I was in makeup school. And then after Ulta was when I moved back to Tarpon and started apprenticing. And so I started working at this acai bowl place. And it was like their grand opening. I was like part of the opening team. And so I'd be working there at like 6 a.m. shifts where we're just cutting fruit until they open and then making bowls around when they open. So I'd be there from like 6 to 11:30, and then I would go from there to the shop like 12 to 7, 8, whatever. And then in my spare time, when I wasn't at the shop or at the Acai Bowl Cafe, which I won't name because I talk shit about them all the time. They fucking fired me after a month because they thought I was a weirdo. Shout out. But yeah, when I wasn't working there or at the shop, I was fetish modeling, and that was really fun, and I could do it, I could do what I wanted, like there was no one telling me what I had to and didn't have to do. Like you make your own rules, you do whatever you're comfortable with, and you do it on your schedule. Like, there are people that didn't mind shooting at, 8 o'clock at night. Like,
that's something that probably a lot of people don't really know about you, is that you were doing fetish modeling in the past.
Yeah, I've never, advertised it, I guess, but I was never really super secretive about it either. I don't really mind. I mean, it was mostly, BDSM fetish sort of stuff. I had an excuse to buy cute lingerie and heels, and then I just get to get tied up and look cute.
That's probably an ideal job for a lot of people that are watching this, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for sure. It's
based on my last episode,
I
got a lot of feedback on wow, I was actually looking into doing webcam modeling, and I'm really glad to hear someone who's done it before. And
oh, well, here we continue the sex work saga.
It's like I have a type.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to my beeping light because my non-beeping light was falling apart because it's made of shitty plastic.
Heck.
And I tried to contact Young Nails about it, and whoever was doing their customer service the first week of the pandemic basically told me that it looked like I dropped it and that they can't help me. And I said, well, I can assure you it's never left my desk. I've never dropped it, but okay, thanks.
Damn.
And I noticed that it was getting really hot. If I had to use it all day, or a particular set was a lot of gel work, it would get really hot. Heat would radiate out of it. And the top was cracking, where the number display was. And I was like, I think it's just getting so hot that it's cracking the plastic.
Oof.
And I tried to explain that to them. I was like, I didn't drop it. It's never left my desk. It's literally just getting so hot. Like, I can feel how hot it's getting just from, like, being near it. And I never got anything back. And I was like, all right. Basically, she's like, that's never happened. We've never seen that happen before. And it looks like you dropped it. So, and I was like, cool. Okay. Thank you for, you know, helping me out, that I've been loyal to this company for 10 years. But it's fine. I'll be looking for a new lamp from another company, I guess. I have been like really liking the Oppress system anyway. I might be starting to switch more towards their products. And I think it's important for like even anybody in an art field. Like sometimes you just outgrow a company. Like a company is like really, really great for you until a certain point in your career.
And there's always technological advances in every career, every pathway. Like stuff is gonna get better as time goes on, and new companies are gonna come out.
So what made you decide to become a tattoo artist? Because I know I started doing your nails in high school, when you were in high school, and then you went away.
I think I was looking for someone to do my nails for prom my junior year, and that's when I found you.
And then you left and you went to makeup school, right? Like, was it esthetician or just makeup artistry?
Just like makeup artistry with like esthetician stuff in it, but it was not. I have very complicated feelings about that place. But so basically, being a tattoo artist was always something that was kind of like in the back of my head. You know, like one of those jobs where it doesn't really seem like realistic or feasible. Like when you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up, and they're like, oh, I want to be the president or an astronaut or a runway model. And
but it's like not attainable.
Yeah, it just seems like it's not attainable. Like, whoa, that would be so cool if I could do that, but like I can't. Like I can't do that. So that's how it always felt to me. But then, you know, in high school, I was doing both the veterinary program and the Cambridge program. The veterinary program, I mean, I'm definitely really glad that I went through it and learned everything that I did, obviously as someone that loves animals and owns animals.
I think anyone who owns an animal
should definitely
take a veterinary
need
course.
To educate themselves like that. There are way too many people out there who own animals and don't know anything about taking care of them.
And they're on like Facebook, like, my dog is coughing, what do I do?
Yeah, like maybe call your vet instead of asking Facebook. But yeah, so I loved the vet program, loved working with animals, realized very quickly that I did not want to be a veterinarian. But yeah, I love animals, I love medical science. It just wasn't really it. And you know, when you're taking AP classes and everything, and you know, you have the same like 30 kids in all of your classes for the next 4 years, everyone's always talking about what like Ivy League colleges they're applying to and what they're majoring in, minoring in, double majoring, this, that, internships, and then they turn to me and like, so what do you want to do? Where do you want to go to school? I'm like, haha, that's a great question, my friend. I will get back to you when I know the answer. And it took me a long time to like try and figure out what I wanted to do. I didn't really know at that point.
I did more online classes for vet school than actual classes because I was like afraid to go to like a big like college classroom.
Yeah.
Because of like anxiety and stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna like do this all online as much as I can because
I feel you.
People are scary.
So yeah, I took a forensic science and criminology class my senior year, my junior year online, and FLVS, the good old days of FLVS.
Did you like criminology?
Oh yeah, I loved it. That was one of my favorite classes I had ever taken. And so, you know, I finally like settled down on a school. I ended up applying, like, I only applied to one school. I applied to my first choice school, which was Flagler College in St. Augustine for their criminology and forensics program. Got accepted with scholarships. Between the scholarships and like the FAFSA, volunteer hours, bright futures, I pretty much would have had my entire tuition and everything paid for. You know, we were getting ready for everything. I was taking like the entrance exams so they could place me, you know, talking about dorms and everything. And then right after my mom sends like a $400 like non-refundable like dorm fee or something, I discovered this makeup school. And I thought about it for a couple of days. I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna go to makeup school instead. And my parents were like, what you mean?
Did they make you pay
What?
for makeup school since they already tried to pay for college?
They didn't actually. So they didn't take, any of the other sort of scholarships that I had. They're very picky on what financial aid they do take, so I ended up taking out a Sallie Mae loan. Went to makeup school, got kicked out of makeup school.
How do you get kicked out of makeup school?
My mom hates when I tell people that, because they expected you to keep a 95% or a 90% attendance rate, and my attendance dropped to like 65% because I was depressed.
So anyways, after makeup school is when you decided to...
So then after makeup school, I came back to Tarpon Springs and was like, I guess I'm just gonna kind of get a job, maybe like go to school or do something. And then my mom ended up finding an Instagram post of a tattoo shop that was posting that they were looking for an apprentice. So I went in and I interviewed and I ended up getting hired there. And I apparently have some sort of track record of getting fired after a month from places because that's what happened with that. But
it's okay, me too.
That totally was not my fault. Okay, this shop was owned by a dude who's not even a tattooer. He, maybe had a handful of tattoos. He thought he knew everything about tattooing. I was apprenticing for both tattooing and piercing at first. And it was all dudes. I mean, it was literally male owner and then 4 male tattooers.
So what made them want a female apprentice? Other than just something to look at?
Why would they not want a female apprentice?
I guess you're right.
It's incredible. That's literally, I guess it's easier to get an apprenticeship as a female, but you're also 30 times more likely to be sexually harassed during your apprenticeship, and that's a statistic I just made up on the spot, but I'm pretty confident it's true.
It must be.
Yeah. I was definitely sexually harassed at a couple of the shops that I worked at. I mentioned, wanting to get my nipples tattooed, and, a couple of the dudes were like, oh, we can do that for you. Oh, yeah, let's see.
It was like the TikTok, you're lying, let me see.
Yeah. Like that. But yeah, they pretty much backed me up into a corner and made me lift up my shirt. And stuff like that. The last shop that I worked at before Lucky You, direct quote from the owner's mouth. I never tried to fuck you, have I?
Oh.
Is that what your boss is supposed to say to you? Because that's news to me.
The weirdest, the craziest tattoo you've ever done, we talked about before, was a drunk pineapple.
Oh, my drunk palm tree. Yeah, this dude walks in and he's like, okay, this is gonna sound kind of stupid, but bear with me. I want a drunk palm tree holding a bottle of Jim Beam. And I was like, all right, you have any reference pictures? And he's like, no, I thought I could just tell you what I want and you could draw it. And I was like, I can, but I don't know if we're picturing the same thing. But
And you didn't post it though, because
no,
let's be honest,
I don't need people asking for more. It was so dumb. It was a cartoon palm tree with
I wonder if he'll ever see this. And he'll be like, oh my god, that was me. I'm that dumb person. You also work in a very touristy area, so you probably get a lot of weird, I want a palm tree, I want a sun, I want a flamingo.
Yeah, we definitely do a lot of touristy tattoos like that, and we do get weird people and weird requests sometimes, but usually those people that we don't want to deal with don't want to pay the prices that we're asking anyway, so it's kind of a win-win situation. That's why we freaking put $100 minimum on the door, and people still walk in, and they're like, so is the door for real?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yep.
I've had people like during this quarantine message me, and mind you, they're not like customers of mine normally, like they're complete strangers. And they'll get in my personal Facebook account, not even like my business Facebook account, and they'll be like, "Hey, are you still doing nails?" And then I have to tell them, "Well, no, because like quarantine, and the only reason I'm allowed to get away with this is because A, you're my friend, B, we're filming a podcast, and C, I don't charge you for it."
Yeah,
so
we're just chilling, you know.
And then they're like, "I just need a
2 feet
fill
apart.
though," and I'm like, "Cool, it's still illegal,
Yeah.
and I'm not having a random stranger in my home,
Yeah.
nor am I going to a stranger's home. So like, no."
Yeah.
And then they're just like, "I guess you don't want money," and it's like, what?
Believe me, I would love nothing more than money right now.
So other than the funny palm tree situation, how many tattoos that you've done do you hate?
All of them. Most of them. Okay, not all of them, but like a good majority. And it's not, like, you know, there's nothing like it's not a bad tattoo. You know, my client is stoked. They love it.
I love every single one that you've done for me, so
Luckily,
for the record.
I'm very happy with the ones that I've done on you, but sometimes it just like does not come out the way that I wanted it to, does not come out the way I was expecting it to, and the client loves it, but afterwards they leave and I just sit down and I'm like, man, I fucking hated that. That turned out like shit.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like I literally have done thousands of sets of nails, and I'm maybe like 20%.
Yeah.
And it's not even like that they were bad. Like I post them. It's not even that they're bad. It's just that I wish I had A, more time, or B,
Exactly.
more of a heads up of that's what I was going to do, because I would have liked to have ordered something that would have worked better, or bought something that might have like gave it a little extra like. And I also hate when people bring me a picture of something and say they want it exact.
I get that a lot, and
We're not the same artists, so I can't.
Yeah, and I can't, when people like literally want me to do something line for line that's someone else's artwork, like, that's plagiarism, friend.
It's not only is it plagiarism,
Everyone,
but
like-
it makes you feel way more pressure than you should.
Yeah.
Because, like, God forbid, like, you did something that felt right to you as an artist, but it's not exact, and now, like...
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had like I had a client that was like, you know, I want this, but like, I've seen your tattoos, like I know how they look when, you know, you're allowed to do what you want with them, so like do what you want with it. And, you know, I drew this super fucking cool piece, and she was like, wow, that's really cool, but can you actually make it look just like the original? Like, also, when you didn't draw a design, it's not gonna look as good as if the original person who drew it did it, because I don't know,
were
it's something
feeling
about
it.
the muscle memory of when
Yeah.
you draw something, and like
that, and, like, they're
the way
feeling
that you
it.
articulated that entire thing, like,
There's been times where I've been, like, really upset about something and, like, really depressed, and I make some really good art. Like, the big canvas that's in my bathroom.
I was looking at that.
I wasn't happy when I painted that, but, like, it came out so good, and if you ask me to do that again, I never will be able to.
Oh yeah, large scale artwork is not my thing. I can't. I wanted to kill myself towards the end of working on your goddamn mural. I was like, never again.
Oh yeah, for those who didn't know, this is who is behind my mural on my loft wall that isn't here because...
Yeah, don't judge it too hard. If you ever move though, I'm not painting that shit again. I'm designing it on my iPad, and we're just gonna order you a tapestry.
Okay, fair enough. So what is your most favorite place to tattoo?
I was gonna be dumb and be like, oh, in the graveyard, obviously. Calves. Calves are definitely one of my favorites. Thighs are another good one.
Some
and
nice
then,
meaty areas.
yeah, and then like forearms. Calves are really nice, especially because like the skin is just so tight down
already.
there that you don't have to do a whole lot of stretching, which a lot of people don't really understand how stretchy an area is affects
When
how
we
long the
designed
tattoo
this
is gonna
one,
take.
it was
yeah.
like one of those things like, all right, that piece of skin is gonna move and stretch in
Yeah.
different ways. Like, what can we put there that doesn't have to be straight and won't look weird if it's warped?
Yeah, a lot of people come in and they, you know, want a long quote, and they're like, yeah, I want it like across my arm. And I'm like, we can do that, but what I'm gonna need you to understand is, and then I take a marker, I draw a line on my arm and I show them like it's never gonna look completely straight. You have to be okay with that. And sometimes I have to place a stencil 2 or 3 times before they understand how the skin actually works.
It's weird because there's like a weird rotator.
Yeah, everyone thinks there's just 2 sides to your arm.
Yeah.
There's actually 3.
The way that your bones rotate is going to change how the muscles in the skin operate.
Yeah, and
as
I mean,
well.
that's for everything as well, you know, like hip areas, stomach area, ribs, like...
I
you
learned-
put the stencil on and it's that big, and then as soon as you stretch,
It's
it's like
like-
that big. It's hard to tell, you know, how exactly a tattoo is going to age, but...
I've also realized I'm never getting words tattooed on me ever again. Like, other than like little things like this, but
Yeah.
I'm never getting words tattooed. Like, if anyone is out there planning on getting words tattooed on your body, don't do it on anywhere in this midsection, ever. Or like here, like just don't. How about just don't? Because every friend that I know who has like words or like a quote or a date or like something tattooed on them, they want to get it covered up.
Yeah, it does happen a lot. I actually covered up a name recently that I did on her like 6 months ago.
Is that like heartbreaking to cover up your own work?
I mean, I'll be real. When I was doing it, I convinced her to get it in a more discreet spot, and I also made it like very small and thin, so
'Cause
that
you
it
kinda
was.
knew?
A lot of time, you can kind of tell she seemed very apprehensive about it. You know, I was like, "Are you sure?"
Was it
Are
the girl
you
with her
sure?"
guy? And you felt like there was
Yeah.
some weird like abusive relationship happening.
Yeah, and they ended up breaking up, and she basically told me that, you know, he forced her to get it. And I was like, you know, like, yeah, we're going to cover this up right now. You're never going to know it was there. But it's like a lot of the time I can tell with clients, like,
when they're uncomfortable.
when they're, you know, it's not really their idea, and it's like, I can't just tell them to get out. They're just going to go somewhere else and get it done. So
At least you know if you're doing it.
at least
you can-
I can, you know, make sure it's gonna at least look nice, be covered up easily, and that, you know, I can make sure they're at least okay. Like,
Yeah. Speaking of that, well, we'll get to the last part of that question. What is the least favorite part of the body to tattoo?
Oh.
Have you had to do butts?
yeah, I've done a butt once before. It's not too bad.
It's like a big calf, right? Like just a it's like a big meaty.
Really like the inner
Armpit.
back of the
Careful of those two.
armpit area. Ooh, I got a dog hair on there. God damn it.
Who was your creepiest customer and what made them so creepy?
Creepiest? There's been quite a few. I don't know if they're all creepy in their different ways, you know. I did have one client though who I was working on a sleeve on, and they were fine for the first 2 sessions, and then after that, I guess the third time they came back, they decided they were like completely in love with me or something.
Oof.
And it was just constant, nonstop throughout the entire appointment. They invited me and my boss to an orgy that was lit.
Did you guys go?
No, it was a tough call, but
You thought about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were telling me like what a goddess I am, and like I don't even know how I sat through all of it, honestly.
Is it hard to keep a straight face when people are like acting that way?
Sometimes, usually, you know, I don't really have a problem telling people to fuck off. But it was a tattoo that I really wanted to finish. You know, I really wanted to finish this project, this sleeve, but they just made me way too uncomfortable. And it was just wild because they knew that, like, they were making me uncomfortable. Like, the people with them told them like they were making me uncomfortable,
And they just
like,
continued to act
yeah,
that
they just
way.
didn't really, like, they recognized it, and they just kept acting that way. And, you know, I don't really understand why, but they've messaged me since then, and I just haven't opened their messages. Like, I don't.
Girl, you don't even open my messages.
My mom gets mad at me because I don't text her back. And it's like sometimes I like mean to. Like,
Like
or
you'll
I
think that you
already,
did.
yeah, I think that like I already did, or one that I'm really bad at is like I'll be typing something and then get distracted by something else, and then it'll just sit there and never get sent. And then 2 days later, when I wonder why the other person never responded, I open the message and see
like,
that
oh,
I never
damn.
sent it, and I was like, fuck.
I guess let's get into the part that I don't know if anybody really knows that hasn't followed you, so the people who don't know who you are aren't going to know these things.
Wait, what are we talking about now?
We're going to talk about your modifications.
Oh.
That you look like a total normal person from the outside, but once they get to know you, you have some really cool modifications. First, let's talk about the first one that you did, which was your ears.
My ears, yeah.
So use that finger and you can show them. So we've got some little pointy elf ears going on.
Oh, I don't know. There's my face. There's my ear. Yeah. Yeah, that was the, obviously besides piercings and tattoos, that was the first major modification that I did. I had wanted it for a really long time, and I'm definitely really happy that I did it.
What was the aftercare like for getting your ears pointed? Because this person says that she's been dying to get them done, but she wanted to know what it's like for aftercare.
It was awful, terrible, painful, sucked. Couldn't sleep on them for 4 months. You definitely have to be prepared for that. Sleeping is going to be uncomfortable for a long time, and it was like a good 2 weeks of hell, like pain and swelling wise.
How long is it until they're actually fully healed?
So usually it's like between 1 to 2 years before they're fully healed, which it's been just over 2 years now that I got them done. And,
I guess it's like how people say getting your nipples pierced, it takes like a full year.
Yeah, when like you get a nose job, it takes, up to 2-3 years before you see the final results. Like,
I don't have that kind of time.
I know, right? But yeah, they were done on 2 separate days. So 1 ear the first day, and then the second ear the second day. They took about 3 hours each.
How did you feel about going back the second day? Did you almost just say, fuck it?
No, honestly, I was way more comfortable going back the second day. I totally had like a panic attack going in the first day. I was
like
really nervous.
I'd be like, oh, I did the one. I know how bad that hurts. Guess who's not going in for number 2?
I actually fell asleep during the second one.
Okay. Did you hear like the snipping?
Oh yeah, that was the weirdest part for sure.
You just hear them like
hearing
snipping
the
away.
Yeah.
Did you lose feeling at all, or
for the first few months? Definitely, yeah. The tips were numb for a long time.
Were you nervous that you weren't gonna get your feeling back?
They seemed to be healing pretty well, so I wasn't really worried about it. I had a great artist working on me. Shout out to Brian Decker.
I think I follow him too.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a sweetheart too. I love him, and he does great work.
Now, did he do your second modification?
No, so my tongue split was actually done by Ian Bell, and you can find both of them on Instagram.
Y'all heard that. We have a cool tongue split going on. Which one of these modifications hurt worse?
Oh, tongue split for sure.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, like I went into it thinking there is no way it could hurt more than my ears. Like if I survived my ears, I could survive anything. No, it was like 20 times worse.
Would you recommend someone doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was totally worth it. I love how it looks. It's super cool to do fun tongue tricks with. But that healing process was rough, especially that first week. Like anyone who wants to get their tongue split, prepare to want to die for a week because it's pretty terrible.
Was it on a scale of 1 to fuck my life? What was it?
Fuck my life times 10.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure like I was like dying. It really knocked me on my ass hard. I'm just thinking back on it. It was terrible. Like nothing could have prepared me for that amount of drool. Nothing. It was just pouring out of my mouth.
You actually came to get your nails done like
I did.
2 days after, and you had to ask me for a towel.
3 days? Yeah, 3 days afterwards. Yeah, and I was just like, it's just constantly pouring out of your mouth.
And you can't swallow that much.
No, like
it would
your tongue is so swollen that it's so hard to swallow. Like the first time I tried to drink water after the split was done, I like started choking and it hurt so bad. I had to like relearn how to swallow. You don't realize
how much you need your tongue.
how much your tongue affects swallowing, like the muscle in the back of your throat, like. And of course, my tongue didn't fit in my mouth for the first few days. It was like just constantly hanging out of my mouth, drool pouring out of my mouth 24/7. Even when I was sleeping, it was just.
So now that you've had that, like your modifications done, where was it? There was a question here that I thought was a pretty good one. What are your thoughts on cropping dog ears or tails since you've willingly, as a consenting adult, have had it done?
That's the biggest thing is the consent part. I, don't agree with modifying anyone or anything without their consent, whether it be your dog getting its ears cropped or tail docked or your infant getting their ears pierced. I hate that so much when people get their infants' ears pierced at like Claire's. Like, there's a reason that professional tattoo artists or professional piercers won't do it. Like,
because consent is a big
like if a kid can't take care of the piercings and they don't understand why they're in pain all of a sudden and why they can't sleep like they could before, and like that's just totally awful.
Did you have any like inspiration behind getting these things done, or was it just something you wanted?
I mean, I just really loved the aesthetic look of it.
It was a personal. It wasn't
just
like
just kind of like a personal choice, like anyone who might choose to get tattoos or get a breast augmentation or reduction or like really any sort of. I mean, like. Why do you wear the outfits that you choose to wear? Why do you dye your hair the color you choose to dye it? It's just what I really liked. Yeah, and I always was really into fantasy stuff growing up.
One of the questions about your modifications was if there was any numbing and if it changes the way that you speak. You sound like you did before you got it done. There's like slight changes in like S's and TH's, but other than that, have you noticed anything drastic?
No, definitely not really anymore. I had a lisp for the first maybe month. When I came back to work after the first few days, I was talking with such a heavy lisp. Everyone was making fun of me so hard. But it definitely went away. Now I think now that my tongues have like settled into my mouth, like the way that they just like sit naturally.
Should probably get my hairdryer out here and make it do a thing. Well, you can kind of see it there. How they just kind of change. Had to get like a little bit of an after. Ooh, I like them. How do you feel about them?
They're so cute.
We finally did the mood gel on you.
Yeah.
Like, I've had it for a year.
I know, every time I come in, I tell you what I want to do, and then I remember about the mood gel, and I'm like, damn.
I should have done that. Well, now you finally did.
They're so cute. I love them.
You're going to have a lot of moments where you, like, notice, and you're just going to be like, ooh. Or, like, you'll be like, oh, there's something warm, like a candle. Or, like, I know when I had my whole nails done like that, every time we lit a candle or something, I'd be like, I'm just going to sit here for a minute. I think I even did a TikTok video about it. Like, I was, like, going near the candle, and they're, like, changing colors, and I'm like, ooh. Because I'm super nerd.
I'm excited.
So other than those questions, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Either yourself or...
Probably the two most asked questions that I get would be about the pricing of tattoos, which, to answer that as simply as I can, I charge $150 an hour. And, it's not always exact, but that's just kind of the guideline that we try to go by. When you book an appointment, I'll tell you roughly how long I think it will take, but it's super important to keep in mind that tattoos can take longer than what I tell you they're gonna take. It depends on so many factors, on someone's skin.
Like, be prepared. Like, if you say like 2 to 3 hours, be prepared for at least another 2 just in case. Like,
definitely don't make plans for after your tattoo.
What is that second one that people always ask?
How to start tattooing? You get an apprenticeship. You don't buy a machine off of eBay and start tattooing your buddies in the kitchen. It's not how it works. If you do that, they are not going to hire you. They are not going to want to apprentice you. Like, that's just not the way it's done. You find an apprenticeship. And tattoo schools are bullshit too. Don't fall for that. Don't pay money for an apprenticeship.
Is it like state accredited if you go to a tattoo school? No, it's just...
No, it's total bullshit. I mean, in Florida, you only need, like, to get a tattoo license, it's literally you just take your bloodborne pathogens course and pass that, and then you have to be like, working at a licensed establishment, pay $60, and bam, there's your license.
I think that's how they're going with nails and hair. Technically, you still have to go to school, but the credit hours have been cut in half in Florida.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be starting doing an apprenticeship for what I do. And hopefully after they leave school with half the amount of education that I was able to get, I can help them with the other half.
Yeah, for sure.
And then maybe get them in the door somewhere with a skill set that most people graduating from those schools aren't going to have. Because, I mean, when you cut the education in half, you're really not ready. Like, you're not. Like, you might think you're ready, but you're not.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, people don't understand why you apprentice for so long before you start tattooing. These people that buy a tattoo machine on eBay and then start tattooing immediately, that's nothing like an apprenticeship, especially if you don't even already draw. Like, the majority, the bulk of your apprenticeship is just, it's all learning how to draw and how artwork translates into tattoos and how to use a tattoo machine.
I would assume same thing with like hair. Like, you need to know color theory.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if someone has green undertones and you put red on them, it's gonna turn brown, and it's not gonna like convey well. So you have to kind of tone out that red.
Oh yeah, 100%. I apprenticed for over a year before I did my first tattoo. Like, that was a year of like just watching, drawing, and
tattooing
learning.
Eyebrows on your leg.
Oh my gosh.
Tattooing eyebrows on your leg.
That was after I'd already been tattooing for a while.
Do you still have them on there?
Yeah. Yeah, they're still there. Some of the colors have started to fade a little bit. But yeah, I just tattooed an eyebrow on my ankle and swatched my permanent makeup pigments because I was gonna do my mom's eyebrows. She was gonna be my first victim, and like, I just really didn't want to fuck up her face,
I think we're about done anyway, boyfriend.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah.
I actually have a podcast.
Yay!
Did
I did actually do top downs too. Are you proud of me?
did you?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully, hopefully we have an episode. So yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You are good.
Making you do this twice.
Do you see what people are sending me? That gives me anxiety.
Wow, I hate that.
Ugh, I hate it. It's like that thing, but worse.
Oh yeah, did you see Ghaith's fingers that I molded?
They look like udders, don't they? Like the way they move.
There's like cat hair and stuff on them. You want to touch it?
I hate it.
You can like see all of his like fingerprints and stuff. So I fucked up and I bought mold silicone and not like hard silicone. So nothing sticks to mold silicone because it's supposed to be for molding like resins and stuff. So I can't do anything with this other than just appreciate how like stupid it is. It was $60 of quarantine entertainment is what that is.